Starting in a minute? Yeah. Perfect time, isn't it? So it's already live. I'm on it. So I'll just unmute you when you're ready. Pardon me? I'll unmute you when you're ready. I'm not sure what Cam wants to do in front of Chef. Just hang on a minute. I'm on the phone with Jared, so I'm trying to wind up with Jared here. That's right. John, Ryan's in black right now. I don't care which one. I'll work with this one here. Okay, good to go. Hello and welcome back to the Olympic Oval for day 4 of the Oval International and Fall World Cup selections. We have some racing starting right away here this morning with the men's Oval International 1500 meter race. This race will be quadded, meaning that 2 pairs will race on the ice at the same time, as we see the second pair lining up at the start. First up in the inner lane, it's Inigo Vidondo from Spain and Conrad Nagy from Hungary. Starting behind them will be Antoine Rager de Quebec and Nicholas Hiller from British Columbia. So all 4 skaters are underway now for this 3 3/4 lap race. 1500 meters. 2 pairs chasing each other around the ice. They are separate races. As Rager and Hiller come through their opening splits, 24.3 and 24.9. That was a little bit faster than Nagy and Vidondo. 1500 meter, a pure middle distance race, meaning that it is a crossover distance. You have long distance skaters who race it. You have sprinters and middle distance skaters skating it. And it looks like Hiller will go over the top of Roger on the backstretch with 1.5 laps to go for those two. Bidondo and Nagy on their bell lap now. So there's the bell for our second pair. Antoine Roger, Nico Hiller. C'est Roger qui a l'avance avec un demi-tour à faire as Conrad Nagy finishes up his final time, 1:47.11, 1:49.09 for Inigo Bidondo. Let's see if our second pair can keep up. Roger driving to the line, the last straightaway, always so difficult in the 1500, and he'll kick his final time, 1:50.62 in 50-62, 1:52.18 for Nicholas Hiller. So after one quad, Conrad Nagy has the time to beat with a 1:47.11. Up next, we have Thomas Millin from France in the inner lane and Jérôme Détanque to Quebec in the outer lane. Starting behind them will be Connor Woods from Manitoba and Adrian Hannigan from Alberta. Oh, and it seems that Thomas Millin is starting on his own, so Jérôme Détanque a scratch. Millin has three-quarters laps to do all on his own. Can be a long way. Millin, a former short track skater from France. As we look at Connor Woods and Adrian Hannigan underway now. Down the long straightaway. You watch their legs as they transition from those quick strides into much longer, more powerful strides. Connor Woods recovering from a slight slip. And they are nearly even through 300 meters, 24.3, 24.4. Thomas Millin a bit slower on his opener, 26.0. And Millin's first lap time, 27.8. As you watch these 1,500 meters, you want to keep an eye on those lap times. The skaters should drop no more than 1.5 seconds per lap. So we look at the baseline for Connor Woods and Adrian Hannigan. Opening splits, 27.3. Close race between these two skaters. Bell lap for Thomas Millin now. His lap time, 29.1. So just over 1 second die. So that's a good drop off for him. Let's see how he can hang on this last lap as Woods and Hannigan are on their last lap now. Split times, 29.7, 30.0 for Hannigan. Still anyone's race, but Connor Woods pulling ahead. Does Hannigan have an answer? As Millin will come to the line. Son temps final, 1:54.11, 1:54.11 for Thomas Millin. And Woods and Hannigan are on their last corner now. And Woods is going to take it right to the line. His final time, 1:53.64, 1:55.32 for Adrian Hannigan. That wraps up our second quad, pairs 3 and 4. We're now moving on to the next quartet. 2 pairs coming up. Jack Dybert from Alberta in the inner lane. He's racing provincial teammate Caleb Mueller in the outer. Starting behind them will be Simon Coots from Manitoba and Oliver Lindenskov from Denmark. Get that great shot of all 4 skaters lining up at the start. .1500 meter, the skater in the inner lane starts further back than the skater in the outer lane because they travel a shorter distance in the first corner. That means that they start almost in the corner. They have a long, long straightaway ahead of them. Outer lane has a shorter straightaway. As these two skaters are underway, this is Dybert and Mueller in the first lane, in the two Alberta suits. Coots and Lindeskov underway now as well. Opening splits for Dybert and Mueller. Mueller takes it 25-3, 25-8 for Dybert. So Mueller pulling ahead a little bit in the opener. 1500 meters is a long race, though. The opener counts, but the 3 laps after are more important. Coots and Lindeskov's opening splits. 25-3 for Coots. Lindeskov 26-0. So Coots right on pace with Caleb Mueller. As Mueller and Dybert come through their 700-meter splits. First lap times 28-1 and 28-7. So Mueller pulling ahead a bit. Even more now, Coots through the line. He still leads his pair 28-2. He's in a tight race with Caleb Mueller and the pair ahead of him. Keep an eye on their split times as Mueller comes through 29-1, 30.0 for Dybert. So Caleb Mueller on a good race here. As Coots and Lindeskov. Coots trying to keep up to Mueller. Lindeskov is closing hard on him. They come through. Coots falling off the pace, 30.1. Lindeskov picking it up, 29.8. As Mueller will drive right through the line. His final time, 1:52.66. Dybert will cross with a 1:56.66. As Lindeskov is going to try and make the comeback on his pair, and it looks like he will. Lindeskov skating strong to the line. His final time, 1:55.62. Coots, 1:56.42. All right, so we're now moving on to another set of races. This is the fourth quartet. Gibson Himbo from Ontario. He's racing Jeff Ross from Alberta. Starting behind them in the yellow and blue armbands, we have Matthew Laxton from Ontario in the inner lane and John Rinchuk from Manitoba in the outer. As these two skaters are underway now, Himbo and Ross. Jeff Ross has a quick start, and you can really see him powering ahead on that outer lane. See if he has the legs at the end, though, to keep up. As this is Laxton and Hinchuk now, all 4 skaters on the ice. Opening splits, 24-3 for Jeff Ross. That's a very quick opener. Gibson Himbo, 26-1. As Laxton and Hinchuk now coming through. Hinchuk takes the opener, 25-0, 25-1 for Matthew Laxton. And Jeff Ross has them in his sights down at the end of the straightaway. He can use that chase all the way. As Hinchuk and Laxton will come through. 2 laps to go for those two. Jeff Ross's opening split time was a 26-4. Let's see if he can hold on to that speed as Hinchuk lap time 27-5, 28-4 for Laxton. Jeff Ross 29-0. So that is a nearly 2.5 second drop off for Jeff Ross. If he can keep this next lap under 31, that'll be good. Himbo's lap time 30.8. As John Hinchuk trying to hold on to his lead and Matthew Laxton closing hard with 1 lap to go. Hinchuk's lap time 29.7, 30.1 for Laxton as Jeff Ross will drive to the line. He's still looking strong though. His final time his last lap time 32.7. Final time 1:52.55. Gibson Himbo 1:59.42. As Hinchuk still holding his lead over his pair. John Hrinchuk will come to the finish line, his final time, 1:53.99. 1:55.45 for Matthew Laxton. So after 8 pairs, Conrad Nagy has the fastest time of the morning. Inigo Vidondo just behind him. Antoine Roger pulling up third. So we now have a look at the next quartet. Sam Pollock from Alberta in the inner lane. Christian Leipzig from Manitoba in the outer. Starting behind them will be Joshua Hathaway from Alberta and Oliver Scharf from Ontario. And Hathaway and Scharf are just on the line now. Sam Pollock and Christian Leipzig skating through the first corner. So Hathaway and Scharf, they've started now down the straightaway, trying to pick up their speed. Opening split times for the first pair. 25-1 for Christian Leipzig. 25-7 for Sam Pollock. So Leipzig a bit faster on the opener. See if Hathaway and Scharf can keep pace. Scharf coming through his split time, 25-9, 26-0 for Hathaway. So far, the first pair starting a bit faster. Doesn't always mean much in the 1500 meter. It's a long race. Let's see the baseline first lap times for Pollock and Leipzig. 27-7 for Leipzig. 28-2 for Sam Pollock. So these skaters will want to keep their next lap time down. Every lap will be slower, but they want to try and keep those lap times from dropping off too much, as Christian Leipzig powering through 29-0. That's a great split time for Christian Leipzig. Under 2 seconds drop off. Sam Pollock 30.4, not too bad either. They have 1 lap to go. Hathaway and Scharf now on their bell lap, coming through the line. Oliver Scharf, split time 30.2, 30.4 for Hathaway. So close race between those two. Only a second separates them as Leipzig will cross the line. His final time, 1:53.16. That's good for 7th. So he had a solid finish. Sam Pollock, 1:58.42. Now it's Hathaway and Scharf. Scharf leading the way. That blue armband, he's going to come through across the line. 1:56.46. Joshua Hathaway, 1:57.53. So both skaters pulling just ahead of Sam Pollock. So we are now halfway through our men's 1,000 meter races at this Olympic Oval International. Stay tuned throughout the rest of the day. At 11 o'clock, we will have the ladies and men's World Cup selections for this distance, the 1,500 meters. Best skaters in Canada duking it out. Following that, at 1 o'clock, the ladies 1,500 meter Oval International. And at 2:30, the most exciting race of the weekend, the men's and ladies mass start for the World Cup selections. As our next pair is now underway, this is Jonah Utsubis from Ontario in the inner lane, Frank Roth from Alberta in the outer. Starting behind them, Eric Orlowski from BC and Caleb Hovey from Ontario. So all 4 skaters on the ice now. It can be a little confusing to keep an eye on 4 times at once. For the longer distances, they often put the skaters in quartets in order to save time. As Utsubis and Frank Roth come through. 25-0 for Frank Roth. That's a quick opener. 25-2 for Utsubis, trying to keep pace. Eric Orlowski, 25.6. Caleb Hovey, 27.0. So our first pair with fast openers. See if they can maintain that speed throughout the rest of the race. Roth split time, 27.9. Urtsubiz, 28.7. So Frank Roth pulling ahead. Right now, he is keeping pace with Christian Leipzig. Leipzig, who had a great finish. Finished at the time of 1:53.16. Let's see if Frank Roth can keep up. And starting to drop off the pace is Frank Roth. His split time, 30.4. Urtsubiz closing ground, 30.2. He has a second to make up on this backstretch. Let's see if he can. He's crossing over behind. He's going to come around that outer lane, and let's see if he can make up enough ground as Orlowski leads Hovey with 1 lap to go. Eric Orlowski, 30.6. Caleb Hovey fading a bit, 32.7. But Roth will hang on for a final time of 1:55.73. That's just ahead of Simon Coots at the finish line. As Orlowski will come through with a big lead on his pair, he will finish up his time, 1:58.24. That's good for 20th, just ahead of Sam Pollock. As Caleb Hovey finishes up with a 2:04.33. "12 pairs down, 10 to go." As we have a look at our next grouping, this race features Hobbs Holzer and Mark Golden, both skaters from Alberta. It's a good interprovincial battle here, intra-provincial battle. We've got a false start. Looks like the white flag is up, so that means that Hobbs Holzer in the inner lane was charged with the false start. Skaters are not allowed to leave the line before the gun goes off. They also have to be fully still. If there's any movement on the line, the referee may charge them a false start. Now there is a false start to the field now, so the next false start would result in a disqualification. Both skaters waiting long enough this time, and they're underway. Holzer and Golden. Holzer's in the white armband, Golden in the red. They've got the same suits, so watch those armbands. Up next, Paul Coder and Noah Bauma. Coder from Alberta, Bauma from Ontario. Again, watch those armbands. Yellow armband is the inner lane. Blue armband is the outer lane. As our first pair comes through, high 25s for both skaters. So decent openers for Holzer and Golden, as Coder will lead through. 25.3, that's a quick one. Bauma, 26.1. You see both skaters swinging one arm. That is very typical in the 1500 meter, a normal technique. The skaters swing an arm in order to help drive the legs, but they leave one arm on the back to conserve a little bit of energy. The goal is to skate with easy speed throughout the first 2 laps of the race. As we have the bell lap for our first pair now. Golden and Holzer. Golden is pulling ahead. He has nearly 5 seconds on his pair. As Paul Coder leads the way over Noah Bauma. Coder with 1 lap to go. 30.0 his lap time. He is right on pace with Mark Golden. Only 200 separating them through 1,100 meters. So it's all about this last lap for Coder and Golden, as Golden finishes up with a 1:55.81. Holzer will come through 2:03.73. Let's see if Coder had it in him. Let's see if he can beat Mark Golden at the line. He's looking for 155.81, and he does it, 155.40, squeaking just ahead of Mark Golden. Noah Bauma finishes up with a 201.12. So Paul Coder, the 155.40, pulls just ahead of Matthew Laxton up to 12th place. Good finish for Paul Coder. As we have a look at our next pairing, Max Brandt and Thomas Van Dyke. It seems as though Thomas Van Dyke is a scratch, so Max Brandt racing on his own. He's in the inner lane in the first pair. Starting behind him is a second pair, Matthew Scutchings from Saskatchewan in the inner lane, and Darius Eschetti from Austria in the outer. As Brandt is on the way in that inner lane, all on his own. The Scutchings and Eschetti underway now as well. Drag race down the backstretch as Max Brandt comes through, 26-1 his opening split. See if Scutchings and Eschetti can keep pace. Of these three skaters, Max Brandt had the faster time in the 1,000 meter. Not always a straight crossover from the 1,000 to the 1,500 meter, but both races are middle distance races, so the 1,000 meter results are usually a fairly decent indication of how the 1,500 meter will go. This Matthew Scutchings pulling away from Darius Eschetti. My mistake, Darius Eschetti pulling away from Matthew Scutchings. Eschetti keeping his lap times under 30. And Brandt, 30.6. That's a good drop-off for him. Not much difference between his first two laps. As Max Brandt skating on his own will come around the final corner. Darius Eschetti with the bell, 31.1 his lap time. Matthew Scutchings, 33.7. So Max Brandt coming through right to the line. His final time, 158.08. Max Brandt finishing up just ahead of Eric Orlowski and just behind Josh Hathaway. 158.08 his final time as Eschetti will come through. 159.95 his final time. And Scutchings last through the line, his final time, 2:08.58. So 3 races to come. 6 pairs. Up next, we've got the young versus the old. Bob Irvine in the inner lane. Zachary Lacroix in the outer. So, young junior racing Wiley Master. Underway at the start of this 1,500 meter. Irvine's in the inner lane. Lacroix in the outer. Expect Zachary Lacroix to start a little bit quicker than Bob Irvine, but Irvine has a strong finish. He can really hang on. So see how this one ends up. Lacroix's opening split, 26-1. That's a quick opener for Zachary Lacroix. Bob Irvine, 28-2. As Zain Syed Ahmed and Robert Black are now underway. Ahmed and Black through their first 300 meters. Their opening splits, 27-5 for Ahmed, Black 29-3. So we have a look at them on the backstretch crossing over. Skaters cross over 3 times in the 1,500 meters. Every lap they change lanes. Robert Black trying to keep pace with his pair, as Zachary Lacroix continues to hold the lead on Bob Irvine. So Zach Lacroix looking for a PB. His PB was set last year at finale, 2:06. See if a summer of training has paid off, as he and Irvine come through. 1 lap to go. Zach Lacroix, if he keeps this next lap under 38 seconds, he's looking at a big PB. So Zach Lacroix on an awesome race. Look at him down that corner. He is looking strong, still dynamic. Those legs are moving good. He's going to come to the line. Zach Lacroix finishing up with a final time of 2:03.64. Huge PB for Zach Lacroix. Bob Irvine finishes up 2:12.63. And this is Ahmed to the line. He's got a big lead over Robert Black, and he's going to finish up 2:05.48. It's his final time. Robert Black to the line, his final time 2:13.14, just behind Irvine. As we move on to our next pair. Another junior master matchup. Scott Anderson from Alberta in the inner lane. AJ Seddon from Manitoba in the outer. Behind them, it looks like we have a solo skater in the outer lane. Oh, my mistake. We have a pair in the outer lane, in the inner and outer lane. Ryan Grabarczyk from Saskatchewan in the inner. Prathik Prasad from India in the outer. But our first pair is underway, Scott Anderson and AJ Seddon. So those two skaters through 300 meters, opening splits, 27.7 for AJ Seddon. Anderson, 31.4. As Anderson looking like he lost his balance for a moment, but he's back underway. As Prasad and Grabarczyk come through. Prasad leading the way, 27.5, 29.0 for Grabarczyk. So in this 1,500 meter race, coaches give the lap times on the backstretch. The skaters know where they are, whether to pick up the pace or slow down. Typically in the 1,500 meters, skaters skate out just about as fast as they can go and just try to hang on to that speed. As Prasad comes through, he has 2 laps remaining. His lap time, 30.3. He's going to aim to keep this next lap under 32. And we have the bell lap for AJ Seddon, who's on a roaring race, 32.9. His lap time. If he keeps up this pace, he's looking at around a 2:05. Let's see if he can come in under that time. His personal best is a 2:14.51. So as long as he doesn't fall, he's looking at a massive PB. As AJ Seddon comes through 2:05.75, his final time, 10 seconds off his personal best. Scott Anderson finishes up with a 2:17.75. As Prathik Prasad comes through, his final time, 2:05.51. Grabarczyk just behind him, 2:10.86, as we now move on to our final quartet. This is Jesse Uribe in the inner lane from BC. Hunter Hewlett in the outer lane from Manitoba. Starting behind them, Joshua Coel and Donnie Hrenik from Alberta, both skaters from Alberta. Looks like Donnie Hrenik is a scratch, so 3 skaters in this quartet, Isaiah Jesse Uribe, Hunter Hewlett, and starting behind them, Joshua Coel. And our first pair is underway. Jesse Uribe and Hunter Hewlett racing down the backstretch. See who will get to the corner first. It's the outer lane with the shorter straightaway. Now Joshua Coel now underway. So all 3 skaters on the ice. Let's see those opening splits. Hunter Hewlett opening split 25-7, 27-4 for Jesse Uribe. And it looks like Hunter Hewlett will go over the top of his pair on the backstretch. 3 laps to go for those skaters. Coel is going to come through. His opening time, 28-9. So Joshua Coel chasing a personal best of 2:21.53. That was set last year in November. So he's had a year to train. See if he's gotten a little bit quicker. So he'll come through. 2 laps remaining for Joshua Coel. As Hewlett continues to lead his pair. Oh, it looks like Hunter Hewlett went down in the outer lane. Isaiah Jesse Uribe skating on his own now with 1 lap remaining. Isaiah Jesse Uribe chasing a personal best of 2:15.81. See if he can match that on this last lap. We'll have to keep this next lap under 40 seconds as Coel comes through with 1 lap remaining. As Isaiah Jesse Uribe down the home stretch, almost going down as well. We almost had a double fall in that pair, but he will finish up on his feet. His final time, 2:16.14. Just missing his personal best. As Joshua Coel now skating right through 50 meters to go. Driving to the line, his final time, 2:15.48. So that's a 6-second personal best for Joshua Coel in the final race of this men's 1,500-meter oval international. Fastest time of the morning was set in the first pair, Konrad Nagy from Hungary, the 1:47.10. Inigo Vidondo and Antoine Roger rounding off the top 3. Stay tuned for more action. We've got some very quick races coming up. The Fall World Cup selections for the ladies and men's 1,500 meter. Best skaters in Canada duking it out at 11 o'clock. Stay tuned.